Welcome to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang here with a breaking news bulletin. Well, not really. I'm Andrew Wheeler.
And I'm Shane Holland.
We just wanted to drop in a short video to talk about an article that ran in Deadline this past week from entertainment journalist Baz Babingboy, who was talking about the latest news in the rush to cast a new James Bond. It turns out it's not a rush. They are taking their time. Director Denis Villeneuve does not intend to start casting until he's done with Dune Part 3, which is something we really already knew.
Yeah.
The rumors or the information that Babingboy has got does confirm a lot of things. So just to read from the article on Deadline a little bit, those familiar with the matter tell us that the director and his collaborators are seeking a fresh face to take the 007 mantle in Bond 26. Also, Bond will be male, as written by creator Ian Fleming, yeah, we know, and importantly will be an actor who hails from the British Isles. Later in the article, he says, those in the know tell us the ideal approach is to cast an unknown, possibly in his late 20s or early 30s, to play what Fleming called a blunt instrument. If that criteria is stuck to, that means favourites such as Tom Hardy, Idris Elba and Henry Cavill do not match, as well as people like Timothy Chalamet, Glenn Powell, Austin Butler, Jacob Elordi, who've all been speculated about, not British. So they are out of the running.
And also, Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Jack Lowden will be in their late 30s, which kind of cancels them out as well. So all of the names that collectively we have been talking about, maybe not you and I, some of them, but most of the names that we've been talking about are not going to be considered at all. And all of them may be too well known to be the next James Bond.
Pretty much. But again, I don't think this is telling us anything that we hadn't already factored into our previous video on this even. It's going to be someone who, again, I've said before, it's going to be someone who has a body of work behind them. When they say unknown, they don't mean someone plucked from obscurity. They mean someone that isn't a household name. But like Stephen Knight in particular, the writer of Bond 26, he does a lot of TV work, and a lot of his work focuses on stories of like young men doing actiony things like Peaky Blinders, SAS Rogue Heroes. He finds talented young actors to play like rough-hewn, tough guys. And there are plenty of actors from those works that could end up in a Bond movie.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a name that you and I have heard of, who we're not particularly familiar with, but that it's going to be someone relatively unknown and someone who gets a chance to prove themselves in this role. I'll tell you the thing that concerns me about this article is that the source who spoke to the journalist here says that they are thinking of an origin story and that it might be set around the time where Bond was a commander in the Navy. And I think that's the wrong direction to take. I don't want another prequel. I don't want another origin. We've seen this precedent time and time and time again. I feel like in cinema, it started with Bond, with Casino Royale doing this origin story, and then everyone did an origin story. Batman, Superman, Iron Man, Spider-Man. Every Spider-Man movie is an origin story movie. Every Spider-Man, like 3 movies, right? Like, I'm so sick to death of the origin story. We know who this guy is. Just put us in the middle of the action.
I hear you.
I'm getting angry about it.
I'm not as concerned about that, partly because, like, even if Casino Royale is an origin movie, it's kind of the only one for James Bond. And even then, like, how much of it is really about his origin? I don't think Casino Royale is bogged down in this person finding out who he is the way that, you know, a typical origin movie might be. It's just his first 007 mission, basically.
Right.
I think there's a way that it could work. And I agree. I think that sounds like what they're looking at, but also it sounds like they're so early in the process that they're not committed to anything yet. And when Babingboy says people close to the production, people I've spoken to, he's probably spoken to Stephen Knight. Babingboy has been in the entertainment industry for like 40 years. He knows everyone. He can't quote Stephen Knight, but I bet he knows Stephen Knight pretty well and has confirmed these speculations, rumors. with him. So yeah, and the article goes on to say that Knight is looking back at the early Fleming novels. That's very encouraging.
That is encouraging.
He's looking for someone that can carry the action, someone who can. The unnamed source, who again might be Knight, says whoever it is who gets cast as Bond has to look like he could kill you with his bare hands in a trice. From the moment you see him, that has to be readily apparent. It's like, okay, great. Like, that's correct.
Yeah.
Should Bond be played by a non-Caucasian was another question that Babbing Boy asked his sources. He could, came the reply, as always, or nearly always. It'll come down to, are they right for Bond? Are they right for the story that Villeneuve and Knight want to tell?
Yeah, and I think, that's a good clarification. And I think this is the most open-ended that answer has ever been.
Yeah.
Typically, it's just been the last part. They have to be right. It has to be the right fit. Now we're actually getting confirmation, like, yes, it could be anyone from the British Isles. They just have to, they can be whatever skin color, of whatever descent. They just have to be from the British Isles. Great. I love that. And while that does, exclude a few people who may have been good for the role, I think ultimately that's what I wanted. James Bond is British, and I think that is important to the character. Why? I mean, this is a story about kind of the decline of an empire in a lot of ways,
100%.
right? And how masculinity is viewed in that decline, and the things that men have to do to stay relevant, and also even what it means to be a man in any particular time. In the novels, it's in the time that they're written, but in the films, we're talking about now 60 years of film, and each movie kind of asks the question, what is it to be a man? And that's really basic, and you could say all movies ask that question, but I think that is the central crux of what these stories are.
Yeah, Bond has always been that sort of knight-errant character. He is a model of a type of masculinity, and that evolves over time. We see different versions of that character, and this next one is going to have to be different again because times change.
Mm-hmm.
I think now the cap on age has shifted even lower than what we were talking about before, because they're talking about someone early 30s at the oldest and going before cameras in 2027. So that means that if you're 33, you are now at the top. That's a bit absolutist. Of course, if they find someone who is perfect, who is a nudge over that's not going to be the thing that kills the job offer. But it means Jonathan Bailey now is the absolute oldest that a potential Bond could be. But
Jack Lowden, my number one, is
your number one.
absolutely out of the running.
He would be 40 or cusp of 40.
Yeah. And while that's disappointing, I mean, Andrew, that Slow Horses is back, right? The first episode came out this week.
The first episode was so good. Did you see it?
I loved it. And this is why I love this man. And you have told me this before, and I wasn't ready to listen. He has his Bond story, right? He's actually done the work that I have been wanting. I just wasn't ready to admit it to myself.
There's probably more screen time for River Cartwright than for any actor that's played Bond. Certainly more than Daniel Craig. So,
Yeah, no, so Jack Lowden, continue killing it on Slow Horses for as many seasons as you want to do.
He's looking great. He's looking so good now.
He's looking so good. Anyways, Bond. I
will say,
I'm excited to see a young Bond.
Yeah. But then that's going to place them closer to an origin story, Shane.
I know.
I will say, have you watched any of SAS Rogue Squadron, Rogue Trooper, Rogue?
I don't think that's it, but yeah, no, I have not.
Scrolls back up.
SAS Rogue?
Rogue Heroes.
Is that it?
SAS Rogue Heroes.
Pick a name,
It's not the most informative name. No, I just finished watching the second season of that show. I actually really liked that show. I forgot how much I enjoyed that show because it feels like it's going to be a sort of too macho by half sort of wang wiggling contest, and not in a good way. But it's actually very kind of it's like a better written and more interestingly constructed version of Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Like, it's kind of telling the same, like, that's about the origins of the SAS as well, that movie, or
Yeah.
about like the prehistory of the SAS in a way. And this very similarly, it has Sophia Botella as the one woman spy wandering around, knocking around the story. And it has just a lot of young hunky men in beautiful leather jackets, occasionally dying and occasionally just like taking their clothes off and running into the sea. And it's got like a modern touches, like the soundtrack is modern, like you'll get like bursts of London Calling or stuff, Clash songs on the soundtrack, and you'll get like graphics on screen telling you who the characters are. And it's got queer elements. Like, they're not front and center in a big way, but one of the lead characters is very clearly in love with another man, even though it's never fully realized. And Dominic West plays a senior spy who dresses up in drag
Dominic
sometimes.
West. Oh my God!
And these are based on real people. And you can go to the Daily Mail and see people up in arms being like, "How dare they destroy the good name of the British military by implying that some of them might have been a bit queer." Newsflash,
I
buddy.
believe that happens so often that it's name checked in multiple Bond books, that we have extensive Wikipedia articles about defectors to the Soviet Union. Yeah, they were there.
Can I tell you a little thing about homosocial spaces, buddy?
Yeah.
You put a bunch of men together with no women, they're gonna suck dick. I mean,
I like that this was my shorthand for homosexuality. Two wangs.
Yeah. So actually, someone from that show could well be like, because Stephen Knight writes that show, he's got contact with all these like 20-something, frankly gorgeous men, any of whom could be a Bond. Like, I feel like I need to go through the cast list for that now. Jack O'Connell is the lead, one of the leads.
Love Jack O'Connell.
The guy whose name I forget, the guy from Sex Education, the bully guy, is one of the other leads. I feel like they're both probably too old now, but there's a lot of other dudes on this show. And Sophia Botella, we love Sophia Botella. She could be in a Bond movie.
Botella. Yeah, absolutely. That brings me to one of the last things that this article says. Quote, "By the way, just because Bond will be British, it doesn't mean that other roles, such as the Bond foe and the actress leads, can't be performed by non-Brits, as has been the case for eons." So, like, there is so much room for all of these people who have been considered, who we would love to see in these movies. There's still a place for them in these films. And obviously they're not all going to be in these films. But I think it's just important to remember, like, while we've kind of restricted the parameters of the casting, there is still like so many opportunities to see so many different types of people in these coming movies. And I feel like this is the first time I've really felt like, I think this franchise is in good hands right now.
Yeah.
These are people who want to showcase different actors like with different backgrounds and identities. And it's just, this is an exciting time to be a Bond fan. And I haven't felt that way in a long time. I hate that it's going to be 2028, that a Bond film won't have been filmed for 10 years. This is like the longest gap, and that's insane. But if it means that we get one of the best Bond stretches of films, then it will be worth the wait. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see, but that is the silver lining out of all of this. Now we are getting to that stage where news is going to start coming out fast and furious, and this is good.
Yeah, I think actually, like the fact that they're taking their time to make a good product, and then probably they're going to go like all in on production, like line up the production of like 3 movies back to back pretty much. I mean, that's speculation on my part, but that's like the best case scenario is like they didn't rush out a Bond film. That's good news because Amazon had every reason to want to do that. But no, they went out and said, we want a great director and we'll wait till he's ready. We want a great writer and we'll, give him a lead time. And then we'll start talking about actors when we know the story. That's all really, really encouraging. My number one ask for Bond films is that they make them. Like, sorry, Barbara, but that was where you fell down. I really want Bond films. I want to watch them. I want more of them.
Yeah.
How we launched a podcast in the dearth of Bond films and made it run for so long.
We found a
And
way, baby.
we found a way. Yeah,
We
it's
talk about
frustrating.
King Ghidorah and Vamp.
Yeah, that's how we do. um, so yeah, and hey, great that they're going to consider non-Brits for the leading actress roles. They're just going to have to find someone to dub them English dialogue because that's
Yeah.
traditional.
Is that lady still alive?
I think Nikki Van der Zyl is no longer with us, sadly. So we'll just have to find another woman who can dub over all the female leads in all the Bond films.
Did we put her on our Mount Rushmore? No,
we did
didn't.
not in the end. She did not make it, unfortunately. We put Barbara on there and then got comments saying it should have been Cubby.
Well,
whatever.
This is our Mount Rushmore, our Mount Bondmore.
I'm annoyed with Barbara, but I still put her on the mountain, you know? Maybe one day we'll put Denis up there. We'll see.
We'll see.
I don't know who we're taking off, chipping their face off. Sorry,
all right,
Ken Adam.
I mean, honestly, that was my first thought. It is going to have to be the production designer. We can find another one. We can always hire new production designers. They're a dime a dozen. Well, Andrew, I've once again put my foot in my mouth, so I think it's time to say goodbye.
Yes, let's leave it to the comment section now to tell us what we're wrong about.
Yes. Until next time, kiss, kiss.
Bang, bang.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. You can follow Kiss Kiss Bang Bang on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at KKBBpod, or email us at kisskissbangbangpod@gmail.com.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is recorded in Toronto on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples.